You know what I've always told you in politics, that a day is a long, long time in politics. And it was just yesterday, same time on PM Express, when Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, was preparing at this time. I was standing here about to introduce him, talking about him and sitting down with him to speak in his capacity as the minority leader. 24 hours on, and he is no longer the minority leader. For all intents and purposes, he is a common floor member on the NDC side. That is one framing of the issue that definitely will leave you just scratching your head. How Haruna Idrisu, a man who, of course, you saw him yesterday, wields a lot of power, a lot of influence, not only in parliament, but in the party, but in his constituency, right now has been stripped of all the power in that house, just by a stroke of a pen and a letter to the Speaker of Parliament, signed by the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete. So there you have it. There is a reshuffle in the NDC. And this reshuffle left many shocked today because many did not see this coming. We're going to get into the details of this. So if you're just joining us close of day, you just got home and you're wondering, what am I talking about? But I was just watching Haruna Idrisu on your show yesterday. Well, he's no longer the minority leader. This man here, Dr. Kaisel Ataforsing, who you've also seen many, many times on PM Express, is now going to take up the mantle as the minority leader. We'll talk in greater detail about them, and let's do that now. Because we know, we'll talk about Haruna Idrisu himself, about his legacy. I mean, yesterday when he was on the show, he told us what he believed he's done, his achievements in Parliament. I'll come to the achievement of the old block of leaders who have now exited shortly. But Kaisel Ataforsing takes over. Now, we've been speaking to the party. The national chairman of the party, explains why. He says Kaisel Ataforsing is the perfect choice for the time, and emphasis on the time, because the party believes that in the 2024 elections, the economy is going to be the issue. It's going to be the deciding issue around where the elections will be fought. And so they want somebody in Parliament with an economic background. And of course, you know, Dr. Kaisel Ataforsing was a former Deputy Finance Minister, is the party's, party's spokesperson on finance, is a ranking on the Finance Committee, and it comes to this with some gravitas in the area of the economy and finance. Asiodun Ketia says that is one of the primary reasons why they chose him, because they believe that a lot of the fight will be fought in Parliament. Especially, we're going through a debt action program. The economy is at the place where Ghana has never been before. We are in uncharted territory. You don't want it in the hands of a lawyer. Was chosen. The second reason Kaisel was chosen, according to Asiodun Ketia, is because of his constituency and where he hails from in the central region, a region known to be a swing region, one of the kingmaker regions in Ghana. And the party needs that so that the people of the region will feel that the NDC is rewarding their loyalty. And they hope that his ascension to leadership role may sway a bit more people to give the NDC the credit when they go to vote. So those are the two key reasons why he was chosen. And then you come to his able deputy, new one, of course, Ama Kofi Boah, who replaces James Kluchi-Aveji. And I want to tell something like James Kluchi-Aveji. Kluchi-Aveji has announced that he's not going to contest again. He doesn't want to return to Parliament. So this will be his last term. Now, the party says, well, if you are exiting Parliament in the next 2 years, then we want somebody else who will stay in Parliament to represent our interest in Parliament. And that is a reason why they believe they should replace him. So for him, there's no controversy there. But then comes in Ama Kofi Boah, the deputy minority leader, the incoming deputy minority leader. He comes to this with gravitas. He's the longest serving energy minister we've had. He comes from this western region. Now, the party says they also believe that going into the 2020 elections, the question of energy will be important. And so they believe they want somebody there who knows a lot about energy, the energy sector, who, when it comes to it, can stand on the floor and debate and articulate the party's view on the matter. And so they appoint him as the deputy minority leader. But then also, they also want to, through him, reward the Western region, another swing region. So you have 2 swing regions being rewarded through these appointments by the NDC. And then you come to Kwame Agboja, who is a minority chief whip now. He's the incoming minority chief whip. And he replaces a man who is formidable in Muntaka Mubarak, who is the outgoing minority chief whip. For me, this is one of the most controversial replacements. And don't get me wrong, this is not to say that Kwame Agboja hasn't got the capacity to be a minority chief. I actually believe he can do it. He has the temperament and the characteristics to do this job. But considering that Muntaka Mubarak was the man who literally laid down his life for the party to elect Aban Bagwen in the House. You remember him chasing down a man, another colleague on the floor of Parliament on the 7th, the dawn of the 7th of January, 2020, when 2021, when they were electing the speaker, somebody grabbed the ballots. He chased him down and ensured that Abba Babwin was elected historically, by the way. First time a party in opposition has secured that seat, the seat of the Speaker of Parliament. Considering that single achievement alone, you think it's enough to keep him there, but it wasn't enough, right? Here comes in Kwame Agboja. Again, why is the party appointing him? The party explains to us that the reason why Kwame Agboja, he's, by the way, the party spokesperson on transport in the House. The party tells us that they believe infrastructure. The conversations around infrastructure will be key going to the 2024 elections, and they want somebody with that know-how to help them in the House in articulating the party's issues on infrastructure. And that is why he's there. But also because he comes from a region which is the party's World Bank. And so this is a reward for the Volta region. And then you come to Ibrahim Ahmed, first deputy minority whip, who, by the way, comes from the Bono region. Do you know who else comes from the Bono region? He is a certain gentleman called General Mosquito. You know him formally as John Cecil Nketia. He is the national chairman of the party, who really, this decision rests solely on his lap, in conjunction with Fifi Kwete and others who have taken the decision. He comes from that region, and they want to reward him. He is the man who caused controversy. He went to Asiru Nketiah's campaign launch when he ran as chairman, and he went to pledge the support of the entire minority caucus. Swiftly, Harun Idrisu issued a statement saying he can't do that. The minority caucus is not supporting Asiru Nketiah. In fact, he's not supporting anybody at all. That was controversial. This is a reward, and he's there as first deputy speaker. So he maintains his position. Comfordoyo Ganzakujo, again, is one of them who has been maintained from the old stock. And again, he comes from a Greater Accra region. As Asiru Nketiah says, Greater Accra region is one of the regions that votes for the NDC. They feel they want to reward him. But again, he's a woman. And so that blend is important. So just explaining to you why they've been appointed. And listen, Case Lacto Forcing is capable. You've heard him argue, standing on his feet. You remember the vote of censure? He was there interrogating, putting forth the party. So he's capable of doing this. So that's why the changes have happened. And it's been called a coup d'etat. But those who disagree with the process because there was a lack of consultation. This is Harun Idrisu, yesterday, mounting a strong defense of his legacy and what he has achieved in Parliament that he believed has earned him a right to be in that particular position. Watch him. Yeah, that constituency, if you want to stand there, Harun's approval.
Evans, I'm completing my 5th term, service to the country, public service, 20 years standing if I get this done. I've had the rare privilege.
20 years?
Yes. As
at the end of this particular
Yes,
term?
if I complete this, I would have done 20 years in Parliament. I've had a rare privilege to serve the Republic as Minister for Communications, my footprints are there.
Employment.
Minister for Trade and Industry, my footprints are there. Minister for Employment, my footprints are there. Even as minority leader, you may like or dislike Haruna. At least I got a speaker elected. I got a budget rejected and installed. I got a Japan rejected. I got a debt exchange which is still struggling to be approved in service of the people.
By the way, this is just 24 hours ago, right here in the studio with me, talking about his achievements. Did he know the morning after this interview, he will be no more as the minority leader? I don't know. But that was a strong pitch to those maybe who were conspiring to get him out last night, about to announce this, to say, I have done some great work in the House. And he mentioned some of them, but let's go through a bit more of what he had done. He mentioned secure the Speaker's appointment, and that was key. He mentions money to reject the 2022 budget. That was key. He mentions the e-levy, which was one significant battle. The finance minister once said that the current economic crisis was because of the fight over the e-levy. And listen, over time, the minority had pushed the government to the point where they've ate humble pie on this, reducing the e-levy rate from 1.75 to 1.5. Now, they blocked government from fully financing the National Cathedral, 80 million budgeted for it. The minority side, under his leadership, and that of Muntaka Mubarak, forced the government to withdraw that 80 million, obtained a probe into the COVID-19 expenditure, one that is going to come up and play in the public very soon, dragged the finance minister to the committee to be head on a vote of censure. We've never seen that before, another historic one. They lost that vote, but they set a setting good precedent. Blocked a 250 million loan, and that was placed before Parliament for approval of that loan. Nobody knows what has happened to it, but the minority people fought very hard against it. Blocked the controversial Ejapa saga, which he mentioned. So there you have it, his achievement for you. And then, of course, why the shakeup? I've explained to you already why the Johnson Ketia believes the time is right, because an election is around the corner. You need to change the people so you can. He said that change the people. You have to change the people for the time. Let them suit the time you're in. And he believes they suit the time you're in. And if you look at the point that he's made fundamentally, he said this is part of a bigger reorganization project within the NDC. He says, well, we've changed everybody. We've changed people at the branch level. We've changed people at the constituency, at the regional level, at the national level. Why not Parliament? And so this, he says, is a completion of the leadership change and the reorganization of the party for 2024. So, and then, of course, here you have it. Economy is a strong suit, as in Dr. Kaesler Toforsin. Energy is a strong suit. Infrastructure is a strong suit. Three areas the party believes will decide the 2024 election. So you see why the party has made the decision. When I return, my guests are joining me, many of them NDC insiders. They'll give me their thoughts on this. But in the end, the NDC want to win the 2024 elections. Primary question, can this group help the party achieve that objective come next year? Stay with me after the break.